Hello everyone to the Cuban Tutor, my name is Gian Pablo, I'm a professional Cuban Spanish tutor, and now we're gonna see how people celebrate Christmas in Cuba, if they celebrate it, and how, in spite of all the prohibitions that we have had since a long time ago, we still kind of celebrate this in Cuba. We're gonna see how it works. Let's see. So first, let's see the history of Christmas in Cuba, right? So Christmas was banned in Cuba from 1969 until 1998. I would say still kind of banned in a way because people do not celebrate it. Cuba, of course, is a country of Hispanic origin, and so they imported Christianity to our countries. All the countries that speak Spanish are of Spanish heritage, so we should have this tradition too, right? Not really. Communism is an atheistic ideology, so it really outlaws religion, bans religion in a way. But well, why? What was this? The then Cuban leader Fidel Castro didn't want any religious celebrations. Christmas was made a public holiday again in 1998 in honor of the Pope visiting the country. There was another visit of the Pope in 2016, if I remember correctly. But well, since then we haven't really had any celebrations from the part of the state. We don't have really any adornments or decoration in the streets like you can see in any other developed country. During the time it was banned, some people still celebrate Christmas, but only in a very quiet way. You could see families still gathering. People do gather and, you know, have dinner together, but it's not really a celebration throughout the country that you can really see it and you can feel the spirit of Christmas. We don't really have that. I mean, people still celebrate, right, and get together, but in a very quiet way, as they say here. Now, Christmas celebrations are much more widespread. Also, because we have had the internet already for some time, although it arrived in 2018, so like in a widespread way, because before it was much more limited, and it's still limited nowadays, but it's much more widespread. And well, thanks to the movies and the films and all that, Cubans started to see how people celebrated more in the outer world. So they still do it now. Christmas Eve is called Noche Buena. This is in Spanish in general. Noche Buena, the good night, literally, which means the good night, and it's when families have their main meal and celebrations together. The traditional main dish is roasted pork. Some families like to roast a whole pig, yes, but this is more specific for New Year's Eve, although I think I'm gonna make a video on that too. Normally served with fried plantains, rice, and vegetables. This is what they're talking about. Plátano frito cubano. Look at this, guys. Look at this. Well, we have this type, which is sweet, and this type, which is more salty, and these are called tostones. So, dessert is often rice pudding or sweet potato pudding. Yeah, not anymore because we don't have as much food anyways. More people are now going to a midnight mass church service after eating their Noche Buena meal. There are still churches and they do celebrate it there, but it's still a quiet thing. In the town of Remedios, there's a very big fiesta and parade on Christmas Eve called Las Parrandas. I haven't seen any real fiesta, so like party or celebration, in a long time. The country right now is not for any kind of celebration, really. One story says that in the 1820s, the priest in town thought that people might go to sleep after a meal and not go to midnight mass, so he got some children to make a lot of noise to keep people awake. I don't know about that, but let's trust it. Now, Las Parrandas in Remedios is a very loud parade and party with different neighborhoods in the town trying to outdo each other with their costumes and music. The festivities start at 10 p.m. when the church bells ring. At midnight, there are a lot of fireworks and more partying. I don't know if they still do that. I don't think so. Well, today is Christmas anyways. Maybe they do. If they do, we'll maybe see that in a next video. Epiphany is also celebrated in Cuba for Christmas. Was banned. It was very popular, and when people exchange presents, children hope that the three kings will bring them presents at Epiphany. Yeah, we have this in Spain too, and well, we have this in January, right? So it's not really right now, and it's called Dia de los Reyes Magos. Some parents like to leave some toys under the bed and stuff, but again, the economical situation is not the best right now. So yeah, and so the way you say Happy Christmas, Merry Christmas is Feliz Navidad. Literally, Happy Christmas. Feliz is the adjective for happy. So now let's see how it looks nowadays. This video was uploaded just literally one day ago, so you should be able to see it. to see how it's still developing nowadays. Let's see.
Durante casi 3 décadas, la Navidad estuvo prohibida en Cuba, no por ley, pero sí como medida tácita de una dictadura que se declaró atea.
Communism, again, is atheistic by default. I mean, this is communism is a-religious, so this is what we get. But still, it was the fault of our government anyways.
No fue hasta fines de los años 90 del pasado siglo que se comenzó a asimilar nuevamente como parte de una estrategia política de apertura.
Yeah, so when they want it. I mean, they can change their mind as much as they like or they want. No matter if in origin communism, the ideology that they supposedly respect is atheistic. If they want to fit if they wanted to fit their political interests, they will then again make it legal or make it public.
Implementada por parte del régimen castrista. En esta ocasión, recorrimos las calles de La Habana para conocer cómo se vive la Navidad en la isla. Lejos de la habitual decoración navideña y ambiente festivo, las calles y la gente permanecen impasibles, mustios, sombríos.
This is the sad state of affairs right now. I mean, this is how it is.
Fecha se vive como otra más del año, esta vez marcada por una miseria generalizada. Unos transitan con materia prima que han compilado de los basureros. Vendedores ambulantes ofrecen algunas verduras y vegetales. Otros venden en portales o a las afueras de sus viviendas.
You don't really see any decoration of Christmas, even if it's lawful now.
Desde tabacos hasta sazones para cocinar y caramelos. Los basureros interminables y las personas hurgando en ellos han pasado a formar parte de los paisajes habituales de la ciudad. Unos niños juegan en la calle, otros, junto a sus padres y familiares, están en una fiesta infantil a escasos metros de uno de esos basureros. En los últimos meses, estos vertederos han agudizado la crisis epidemiológica en la isla, marcada por la transmisión de enfermedades como dengue y chikungunya, que
nowadays there's a big dengue and chikungunya epidemic with thousands and thousands of cases each month, and so people are dying, right? So there's no real Christmas spirit, and there's no real Christmas if there's no health or anything, right?
Pues han provocado varias muertes. En una de las zonas por las que transitamos hay corte de electricidad. En estas ocasiones los habitantes suelen, debido al calor y la oscuridad, sentarse en los portales o aceras o incluso jugar dominó para pasar el tiempo. Dos albañiles reparan una fachada. En una bodega hay cola para adquirir los escasos suministros normados por la libreta de abastecimiento. Como suele suceder, lo único que el régimen es capaz de garantizar es la miseria.
The truest words ever spoken.
A excepción de aquellos con vínculos directos con el poder dictatorial. En el recién finalizado 11º pleno del Partido Comunista de Cuba, el mandatario cubano Miguel Díaz-Canel expuso detalles del desastre económico en la isla. Por ejemplo, reconoció la compleja situación existente, detallando que al finalizar
complex situation is extreme poverty anyways.
El tercer trimestre de 2025, entre otros elementos desfavorables, se muestra un decrecimiento en el Producto Interno Bruto de más 4%, con una inflación disparada y una economía parcialmente paralizada.
I don't know exactly how much it is because it's always varying, but the inflation in Cuba is around 300 and 400% or even more. Maybe I'm mistaken, maybe it's even higher. I had to check later. But yeah, this is how Christmas is celebrated in Cuba, how you can see the Christmas in Cuba nowadays. As you can see, the state of the country is pretty lamentable, and people just are not in the mood or in the situation to celebrate Christmas at all.
La Navidad en Cuba dejó de ser motivo de celebración y júbilo. Este año está marcada por la tristeza.
This year and the last year and the one before the last year, and so on.
La desesperanza, la crisis, las epidemias, los apagones, la falta de libertades y familias separadas tanto por el éxodo masivo como por los injustos encarcelamientos. La fecha expone aún más la pobreza extrema en la isla, la cual, según el Observatorio Cubano de Derechos Humanos, abarca a casi el 90% de la población.
And the rest, and the remaining 10% are still poor. Very poor. But this is extreme poverty, as you can see. So you can show this video to a fucking communist who still defends this regime or others so they can see the reality. But even if they still see it, they'll probably blind anyways. But well, at least now you know how it is. Well, this was Christmas in Cuba. If you want to learn more about the dialect, the way of speaking, the slang, the culture, or politics, don't hesitate to book a class with me and let's start taking weekly classes so you can speak like a real Cuban, because in spite of everything, it is a very beautiful dialect. Ciao, ciao!